Cult of the Black Cube. Cult of the Black Cube is a concept in the occult tradition that is closely related to the symbolism of the planet Saturn. The secret seals and symbols of this cult have deep significance in various esoteric traditions. The black cube itself is a powerful occult symbol connected to the god Saturn, representing the concepts of time control and esoteric knowledge. One of the important aspects of the symbolism of the black cube comes from the natural phenomenon that occurs on the planet Saturn. The seal and symbol of this cult are often associated with the hexagonal storm that continues to rage at the north pole of Saturn. The shape of a cube can be superimposed on the image of this hexagonal storm, creating a geometric relationship that practitioners consider to have mystical meaning. The relationship between the hexagonal and cube shapes is the basis for many of the secret seals in the cult. Saturnian energy and the black cube matrix are not just esoteric symbols, but are believed to have penetrated our society and influenced various aspects of life. The followers of this cult believe that their secret seals can be used to manipulate Saturn's energy and utilize it for various magical purposes. These symbols are often depicted in the form of complex sigils that combine geometric shapes with ancient writings. In the occult tradition, Saturn's seals are often associated with the concepts of limitation, time, and karma. The black cube itself is considered a representation of Saturn's power to limit and define material reality. The secret seals of this cult are designed to allow practitioners to interact with certain aspects of Saturn's energy, both to overcome these limitations and to utilize them. Various artifacts and ritual objects related to the cult of the black cube can be found in contemporary occult communities. These include various amulets, rings, and decorative objects featuring Saturnian symbols. Modern practitioners often create personal interpretations of these ancient seals, adapting them to their own spiritual practices while maintaining a connection to traditional Saturnian symbolism. The secret seals of this cult also often combine traditional astrological symbols for Saturn with more complex geometric elements. These sigils can include representations of Saturn's rings, a crescent in various hexagonal or cubic shapes. In some traditions, these seals are believed to have the ability to open dimensional portals or facilitate communication with entities associated with Saturn. Although much information about the cult of the black cube and its secret seals is scattered across various sources, it is important to note that much of this knowledge remains hidden and is only known to practitioners who have been initiated into the tradition. Like many esoteric traditions, the lines between myth, symbolism, and actual practice are often blurred, creating an additional layer of mystery around this cult and its secret seals. Fraternitas Saturni. The Fraternitas Saturni, Brotherhood of Saturn, is one of the most influential magical orders in Germany. It was founded in 1926 by Eugen Grosche, known by his magical name Gregor A. Gregorius, along with 4 other members. The order is still active today and is considered one of the most important secret lodges in Germany. One of the main symbols of the Fraternitas Saturni is the Sigil of Saturn, which depicts the characteristics of the planet Saturn and its solar core. This sigil represents the path to achieving mature spiritual mastery in the black light of Saturn. This symbol often appears on the ritual rings used by members of the order and is a marker of membership in the group. The symbolic system of the Fraternitas Saturni combines elements from various esoteric traditions, including astrology, Kabbalah, and Thelema. Although inspired by the teachings of Aleister Crowley, the order developed a unique magical system with a special focus on the energy and influence of the planet Saturn. Their symbols reflect a cosmological view that places Saturn as a regulating force overseeing the spiritual evolution of mankind. The Saturni Fraternity ritual rings are important artifacts that display the distinctive symbols of this order. Some rings feature Eugen Grosche's own face, surrounded by occult symbols associated with the teachings of the Brotherhood. These rings are not just jewelry, but function as magical tools and status markers in the hierarchy of the order. The Saturn pentagram is another important symbol in the iconography of the Fraternitas Saturni. Unlike the traditional pentagram, this version of Saturn is often modified with elements that represent aspects of the planet Saturn and the magical principles of the order. This symbol is used in rituals and meditations to align practitioners with Saturn's energy. The doctrine of the Fraternitas Saturni also recognizes the concept of black light, lux et tenebris, light from darkness, which is symbolized in their various magical sigils and diagrams. This concept represents the enlightenment that comes through the experience of the dark aspects of existence, with Saturn as the teacher and guide in this process. This group is one of the most mysterious occult groups in the world. Many symbols and practices of the Fraternitas Saturni remain secret, known only to members in the core circle of the order. The knowledge of their symbols that is available to the public is only a small part of the complex system that they have developed over almost a century of existence. Choronzon. The Sigil of Choronzon is an occult symbol associated with a demonic entity known in Western magical traditions. The Choronzon first appeared in the writings of 16th century occultists Edward Kelly and John Dee as part of the Enochian magical system they developed. In this system, the Choronzon is described as a powerful entity associated with chaos and spiritual obstruction. Choronzon's popularity increased significantly in the early 20th century through the work of Aleister Crowley, founder of the spiritual system Thelema. In Thelema, Choronzon has an important role as a dweller in the abyss, guarding the threshold between human consciousness and higher spiritual enlightenment. Crowley described Choronzon as a temporary personification of the inconsistent and confusing forces that hinder spiritual progress. In the tradition of Kabbalah and Hebrew Gematria, has a numerical value of 333, which is considered a gate in the mystical number system. This number has special significance in Thelema because it symbolizes a critical point in a practitioner's spiritual journey when they cross the abyss and face severe spiritual trials. The Choronzon sigil itself does not have a single universally agreed form, but several versions have been developed by modern practitioners based on interpretations of Crowley's writings and other magical traditions. These symbols often combine elements that reflect the chaotic and fragmentary nature of the entity, sometimes using the number 333 or a visual representation of the concept of abyss or dispersion. In the context of contemporary magical practice, some practitioners use the seal of Choronzon as a tool to confront and overcome chaotic and disordered aspects of the self, while others view it as a warning about the dangers associated with uncontrolled occult practices. Regardless of specific interpretation, Choronzon and its seal remain a powerful symbol in Western magical tradition that symbolizes challenges in spiritual journey and confrontation with inner turmoil. Sigillum Dei Aemeth. Sigillum Dei Aemeth, which means Seal of God of Truth, is a magical diagram that has a long history in the Western occult tradition. The diagram is best known through the work of John Dee, a 16th century British occultist and mathematician, although its origins can be traced far back to the 13th century. Physically, Sigillum Dei Aemeth is a complex circle with a diameter of about 23 centimeters, usually made from pure beeswax. This diagram is full of the names of God, numbers, letters, and symbols, arranged in an intricate geometric pattern. The center of the diagram contains a heptagon, seven-sided shape, surrounded by the names of God and seven angels in Hebrew and Latin. John Dee, along with his intermediary Edward Kelly, used this sigillum as a tool for communication with angels. They placed the seal under the ritual table and on top of a crystal stone for the practice of scrying, staring at the crystal to obtain spiritual visions. Dee believed that the angel Uriel gave him instructions for the making of this seal. Before Dee's era, this seal first appeared in Liber Juratus, or the Sworn Book of Honorius, a 13th century magic manuscript attributed to Honorius of Thebes. In this text, the seal is said to have been taught by the angel Hakroel and is used to summon and control spiritual entities. In magical tradition, Sigillum Dei Aemeth is considered to have the power to protect practitioners from evil spirits and help them gain divine knowledge. This diagram is a complex cosmological representation illustrating the structure of the universe and the spiritual hierarchy according to the understanding of Renaissance occultism. To this day, Sigillum Dei Aemeth remains an important symbol in contemporary magical practice, especially in the Enochian tradition developed by Dee. The Museum of Witchcraft and Magic in England even exhibits a replica of this seal as an important artifact in the history of Western magical practice. The mathematical complexity and theological symbolism in Sigillum Dei Aemeth demonstrate the unique blend of science, mathematics, and spirituality that characterized Renaissance occult thought, making it one of the most complex and mysterious magical symbols still being studied today. The Vril symbol. The Vril Society was an occult organization believed to have existed in Germany in the early to mid 20th century, although solid historical evidence suggests that this organization was actually a fiction that later developed into a popular conspiracy theory. The concept of Vril itself comes from the 1871 science fiction novel The Coming Race by Edward Bulwer Lytton, which describes a mystical energy called Vril that can be manipulated by a superior human race living underground. The myth of the Vril Society was quickly adopted by Victorian mystical groups inspired by the novel, then developed among German occult groups with nativist ideologies. Symbols associated with Vril are often depicted as modified swastikas or geometric shapes depicting cosmic energy, although there is no official symbol that can be historically verified. In its development, the Vril Society was associated with the occult group Thule Society, which did exist historically. This myth was further reinforced by Louis Pauwels in his book Monsieur Gurdjieff, which claimed a connection between the concept of Vril and the occult influence on German ideology at the time. The symbols associated with the Vril Society then became part of the esoteric iconography associated with secret technology and conspiracy theories about UFOs. Some sources claim that the true origins of the Vril Society may have come from outside Germany, possibly related to an occult group known as the Green Dragon. According to this claim, the Vril symbol combines the elements of the dragon and cosmic energy, representing spiritual power that can be accessed through certain meditative practices and rituals. These symbols are often depicted as circles with radiating energy lines or geometric shapes that represent dimensional portals. Although historical evidence suggests that the Vril Society, as depicted in modern conspiracy literature, most likely never existed, the concept and symbol of Vril has become an important part of modern occult culture and conspiracy theory. Symbols associated with Vril continue to appear in various media, often representing supernatural forces or secret technologies that transcend conventional scientific understanding. The Asetian Sigil. The Asetian Sigil, also known as the Dark Mark or the Staff of Asetian, is a mystical symbol associated with the Aset-Ka, an occult group that claims to be descended from ancient vampires of ancient Egypt. This symbol is believed to have deep esoteric origins and is a visual representation of the vampiric and spiritual powers embraced by followers of the Asetian tradition. According to Asetian teachings, this sigil was designed by Aset herself more than 8,000 years ago. Aset, who in Asetian mythology is depicted as a female divine figure, is believed to be the founder of the Asetian vampire bloodline. This sigil is used in secret initiation rituals and is considered a sacred sign for followers of this tradition. The specific design of this symbol has an esoteric meaning that is only fully understood by those who have been initiated into the Asetian tradition. The Asetians were described by ancient mystics as primordial vampires, the first to be born of timeless, immortal descent. They trace their roots and ancestry to ancient Egypt, and the Asetian sigil is the primary symbol that represents their identity and spiritual heritage. This symbol is considered to have magical powers and is used in various occult practices associated with the Asetian vampiric tradition. According to Asetian mythology, Aset gave birth to 3 holy children, who became the origin of the 3 main Asetian vampire families. The Asetian sigil is considered a visual representation of this sacred lineage and the vampiric powers they inherited. This symbol is often used in rituals that aim to awaken the vampiric powers within practitioners and to connect them with the primordial energy associated with Aset and her descendants. Although the Asetian sigil has become a familiar symbol in the modern occult community, especially among those interested in spiritual vampirism, the verifiable historical origins of this symbol remain a matter of debate. Some critics argue that the Asetian tradition and its symbols are modern creations inspired by ancient Egyptian mythology and Western occult traditions, not an authentic ancient heritage as claimed by its followers. Voynich Manuscript. The Voynich Manuscript is an illustrated codex written in an unknown script called Voyniches. This mysterious manuscript has baffled scientists, cryptographers, and historians for centuries because of its unique and unsolved symbols. The vellum used for this manuscript has been analyzed and is thought to date from the 15th century. The manuscript is filled with handwriting in an unknown language or code and is decorated with strange illustrations of foreign plants, naked women, and odd astronomical objects. Researchers have been trying to decode the manuscript for years, but there is no consensus on the meaning of the symbols. Some experts argue that this manuscript may contain ancient medicinal knowledge, while others consider it a work of fiction or even a hoax. One approach to understanding the Voynich Manuscript is to analyze that it is not written in conventional letters, but rather with special signs. Some researchers argue that the characters in the manuscript replace the letters of one of the ancient alphabets, which makes it a very complex and encrypted writing system. This theory suggests that decoding the manuscript requires an understanding of the substitution system used by its author. The Voynich Manuscript is divided into several parts based on its illustrations, including a botanical section featuring unidentifiable plants, an astronomical section with star and zodiac diagrams, a biological section with images of naked women in liquid, a cosmology section with circular structures, and a pharmaceutical section containing images of containers and plants. Each section has unique symbols that appear to be related to specific themes, but the relationship between the text and images remains a mystery. Various attempts to decode the manuscript have been made using modern technology, including statistical analysis, artificial intelligence, and linguistic modeling. Some researchers claim to have solved part of the code, such as the theory that the manuscript was written in a modified ancient Hebrew or is a phonetic transcription of an ancient Turkish language. However, these claims often receive criticism from the academic community due to the lack of convincing evidence. The manuscript is named after Wilfrid Voynich, a Polish-American book dealer who acquired it in 1912. The history of the manuscript before it was discovered by Voynich is not entirely clear, although some records indicate that it was once owned by Emperor Rudolf II of the Holy Roman Empire in the late 16th century. Today, the manuscript is housed in the Beinecke Rare Book and Manuscript Library at Yale University. The secret seal of the Order of the Dragon, the Order of Draconis, or better known as the Order of the Dragon, Ordo Draconum, was a monarchy chivalric order for selected nobles founded on December the 12th, 1408, by Sigismund, King of Hungary, who later became Holy Roman Emperor. The order was formed as an alliance of Christian knights aimed at protecting the kingdom from the threat of the Ottoman Empire and at fighting Christian enemies, especially the then-fledgling Ottoman Empire. The seal or symbol of the Order of Draconis features a coiled dragon with its tail wrapped around its own neck. The dragon is depicted as being defeated, symbolizing the victory of Christianity over its enemies. In some versions of the seal, the dragon is depicted with outstretched wings and a curved back, with its tail wrapped around its neck and a cross on its back. This symbol has a strong religious meaning, with the dragon representing the evil or demonic forces defeated by the power of Christ, symbolized by the cross. Interestingly, although dragons are often associated with evil in the Christian tradition, in the context of the Order of Draconis, dragons also have a positive meaning. Dragons that are defeated and tamed become a symbol of protection and power that has been harnessed for good purposes. This shows the duality of dragon symbolism in the Order, as a defeated enemy as well as a powerful protector. One of the most famous members of the Order of Draconis was Vlad II of Wallachia, who later took the name Dracul, which means dragon or devil in Romanian, as an honorary title for his membership in the order. His son Vlad III later became known as Dracula or Son of Dracul. This connection is very important in history because it later inspired Bram Stoker to use the name Dracula for his famous vampire character, albeit with a connotation far different from the original meaning. Members of the Order of Draconis were required to wear the order's emblem on their robes or clothing at official events. This emblem was usually in the form of a gold or silver medallion depicting a coiled dragon with a cross on its back. In addition, members of the order were also required to wear a special robe at important ceremonies, which was usually red with an embroidered or sewn dragon emblem. The Order of Draconis had a strict hierarchical structure, with King Sigismund as the supreme leader. Membership in the order was limited to high nobility and allied kings, making it one of the most exclusive chivalric orders of its time. Members of the order were required to swear allegiance to the king and promise to protect the kingdom and the Christian religion from external threats. In the broader historical context, the Order of Draconis represents one of the important efforts to unite the Christian forces of Europe against the expansion of the Ottoman Empire. Although the order did not last long after Sigismund's death in 1437, its influence is still felt in Eastern European history and in the symbolism associated with the Dracula family. The seal and symbols of this order have become an important part of Eastern European mythology and folklore, especially in relation to the later developed vampire legends. The occult locus of Algol. Algol, known as Beta Persei in the modern astronomical catalog, is a double star system located about 93 light-years from Earth in the constellation Perseus. Astronomically, Algol is an eclipsing star that fluctuates in brightness every 2 days, 20 hours, and 49 minutes, a phenomenon that has been observed since ancient times and contributes to its mysterious reputation. In the occult tradition, Algol is known as Ras al-Ghul, demon head in Arabic, Caput Medusae, head of Medusa in Latin, or Eyes of the Devil. Algol's position at 26 degrees Taurus in traditional astrology is considered a very malefic point, associated with violence, sudden death, and disaster. Modern astrological research associates Algol with intense transformative forces, especially related to trauma and recovery. The occult locus Algol is a concept in the esoteric tradition that describes Algol as a center of cosmic energy that can be accessed through certain ritual practices. In the Temple of Starry Wisdom, Algol is considered a dimensional gateway that allows communication with forces beyond the normal boundaries of space and time. Neptune, the planet associated with illusion, dreams, and the spiritual dimension, is considered the planetary representation of the occult locus Algol. The Algol seal, used to manipulate the star's energy, has a complex structure with logarithmic spiral motifs surrounding a blood-red center point representing the star itself. The seal is often depicted with 7 concentric circles, symbolizing the 7 layers of reality that must be penetrated to reach the true essence of Algol. The radial lines that intersect the main spiral form 26 segments, corresponding to the position of Algol's degree in the zodiac. According to occult manuscripts from the 17th century, the Algol ritual was performed during the eclipse phase of the star and required the use of black obsidian as a scrying mirror, the blood of sacrificial animals replaced with the red wine in modern practice, and the burning of a herbal mixture consisting of belladonna, mandragora, and asafoetida. This ritual is reported to induce visions of the future, especially with regard to collective transformation and global catastrophes.